Mr. Surya Kumar.
Sir. Good evening.
Good evening. Where are you right now, Mr. Surya Kumar?
So I'm presently in Rajahmundry, sir, at home.
Not very clear. Is it because of the
Sir, I'm presently at home, sir, in Rajahmundry.
Rajahmundry?
Yes,
Right.
sir.
Tell us something about yourself, Surya Kumar.
Yes, sir. Sir, I'm Surya Kumar, sir. I've I'm from Rajahmundry in East Godavari district, sir. I've I've completed my graduation in engineering in the electronics and communications stream, sir. Later, I got a campus placement in Infosys, and there I worked for 2 years, sir. After that, I resigned from my
Surya
job and
Kumar, I think there is a problem. There is a problem of your audio and video. My suggestion is if there is a network issue, please switch off your video so that you are at least heard.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Please go ahead.
Sir.
Yes, Mr. Surya Kumar, you can go ahead.
Okay.
He's not audible.
Sir.
I think his network is not adequate.
No, you put off your video, Surya Kumar.
You can switch off your video, Surya Kumar.
We can hear you. We can hear you.
Okay,
so
sir.
that
Okay.
we can hear you.
Okay.
Switch off
Okay,
the
sir.
video.
Okay. Sir, I think I'm audible now.
Please.
Are we audible to you?
Yes, sir.
Please
Yes, sir. It's
continue.
very clear. Sir, I'm Surya Kumar from East Godavari district, sir. I come from a place, Rajamahendravaram, sir. I've completed my graduation from electronics and communications stream, sir. And later, I worked for 2 years in Infosys as a systems engineer, sir. Then I resigned for the job and started pursuing civil services.
Continue.
And I've given 4 consecutive mains, sir, but somehow I couldn't make it to the interview, sir. Then later I also started giving other exams, and currently I've got placed in Andhra Pradesh state government, sir, in the endowments department as an executive officer.
Endowments executive officer is what? Group 2 or what?
Actually, there are levels, sir. There are levels of executive officer. Currently, I'm in the grade 3, sir. Grade 3 is like less than group 2 level, sir. Group 2 level is grade 2.
Less than group 2, is it?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. The present job I'm doing is less than group 2 level.
Where are you executive officer? Which temple?
Presently, I just joined some 2 weeks back, sir. Presently, we are under training. We are under training in Konaseema districts.
You are in, training in any training institution or at the temple or in any office?
In the beginning, they have planned it in the office level itself, sir. In the office of Assistant Commissioner, Konaseema district, currently we are under training, sir. Later, they have given schedule of temples also, sir. Famous temples in our district. Along with that, certain offices, sir.
There is a very strong movement that government should have nothing to do with Hindu endowments, and that all controls of the government on temples should go. What do you say?
Sir, I feel that in this case, sir, what is happening in case of endowments department is government is not funding directly, sir. For example, even in case of our maintenance and our salaries also, there is a specific fund called the endowments administration fund, sir, which itself consists of a certain share given by the temples itself. And from that corpus fund itself, the salaries of employees and even the.
No, have you understood my question? My question is, government should not deal with the administration of temples. That's the point being made by some hardcore protagonists.
Yes,
what
sir,
are your views on that?
Sir, I feel that as long as the government maintains a certain equidistance from all the major and minor religions, in that case, it is no wrong, because in case of Hindu temples, sir, it is having a specific department in the form of endowments department, and we also have other kind of interventions in case of positive interventions in case of other religions, like giving subsidy for their, for example, in case of Hajj Yatra or someone who is going to Jerusalem. So in a way, government is maintaining an equal distance from all the religions without directly interfering with the practices and the freedom of religions.
Do you think that there is need for a stronger integration of the social activities like education and health with temple administration?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I think because I feel that temple is also a place of socio-cultural setting, in which, for example, I can give, in this case, I can give an initiative by the organization called ISKCON, sir. It is being actively involved in the education, and also various food donation schemes for the needy, irrespective of the religion, if they are from the underprivileged sections. So in a way, amalgamating the education and health along with this endowment service is good in a way, sir.
Now, you see, there is a process of registration of marriages.
Sir,
Now, do you think that all the Purohits can be given some POS device and asked to register marriages online at the marriage itself?
sir,
You are a student of electronics? ECE,
electronics and
electronics and communications.
yes, sir.
Do you think we could give, or we could ask the Purohits to buy a POS device and
Yes.
register a marriage? Why should the registration of a marriage be done by a sub-registrar who has nothing to do with any of these ceremonies?
Sir, because
Or municipal commissioner for that matter.
sir, one reason I feel is like because marriage is treated as a kind of a sacred bond in case of India, and there are also various consequences and various other issues related to it, like in case of divorce, or in case of adoption, or in case of any alimony as a consequence of divorce. We need a certain government mechanism, which provides a form of grievance redressal. So the duty of registration is not given to the temples, and it is under the government registration.
No,
So
but how
that,
is the sub-registrar concerned? He has nothing to do with the marriage. It's the Purohit who is performing the marriage. Why can't he be the marriage registering officer?
sir, because as I told, like in case if everything is fine, it's okay, sir. But there can be various consequences, like the example of divorce, which in that case
No,
the
the
Purohit
marriage,
has
you see,
nothing.
I'm not saying that don't register. The registration will be done by the Purohit. He'll be empowered, let us say. He'll be empowered as a marriage registering officer. Why not? The government says, believe the citizen, believe the affidavits of citizens. So what has the sub-registrar to do with that? Now, do you think that you would like to make any attempt in that direction?
Sir, I think mm, except from the administration of temples or anything religious to religious activity, these marriages, which are common to people of various religions, could not be solely given to the priests or
No, no,
purohits of a specific
even
religion.
the priest in a church, the mullah in a temple, in a mosque can be asked, can be notified as registering officers. Why not?
Sir,
Yeah.
I
The
personally,
point is, how are we integrating technology into our various aspects of our life,
sir,
living, and birth and death? This is the point. So please continue.
Okay, Surya Kumar, you
sir,
have done a good job in Infosys and worked
sir,
there for 2 years.
Yes, sir.
And there is a drought of 7 years. And why are you coming to this government service? You should have, if you
Sir,
have continued in Infosys, you would have reached a 6-digit salary.
yes, sir. Sir,
Why are you coming to
while
this government service?
yes, sir. Sir, I have this feeling of working in government service even from the beginning, sir, like while doing engineering itself. But I got campus placement and then I joined the job after my college just in a way to sustain myself, sir. But while doing the job, I have realized that it provides only a monotonous career opportunity, and in a way, I realized that it is not my cup of tea, sir. Then, but still, I'm under a bond of 1 year, sir. So later, I worked for 1 year under that bond, and then I applied for resignation, and then I started pursuing government services, especially civil services and state level group ones.
What attracted you to government service? There is no much charm there.
Sir, I have multiple reasons. Like one reason is like my father is being part of the state government from my childhood. So seeing him in all and the way he's connected to the public every day, and and the various administrative affairs, I'm a bit attracted to the government sector since my childhood. And one more reason I feel is like I'm a person who is more interested in the who is more interested in the people connect that comes along with this government service. But in a typical office environment, I don't find it much interesting as I found in my software jobs.
Okay, you wrote mains of 17, 18, 19, and 20. What
Yes,
about
sir. Yes, sir.
21? What about 21 and 22?
Sir, 17 is my first attempt, and till then consecutive I've given mains, and if I couldn't make it to the interview. So later in 2021, I have skipped the attempt. Sir. I have skipped the attempt, and then realizing that it is time for me at least to get into a job, at least to sustain myself financially. I concentrated on other exams for that year, sir. In 2022 I gave an attempt, but first time I couldn't clear the prelims, sir. In 23
What is
again I didn't give an attempt, sir.
You have still chance at that?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I am still having like 3 attempts. I'm having, sir. I have given only 5 attempts till now.
Okay, then what is your option?
My optional was anthropology, sir.
Take care of that.
Okay.
Surya,
Yes, sir.
you have spent lots of time at Rajiv Gandhi University, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It is a
Okay, what
6-year
is
course, sir.
Rajiv Gandhi's What is Rajiv Gandhi's contribution towards socio-political development of India?
Yes, sir. Sir,
Yeah.
certain things I have known about him is he's the uh, he's the propounder of the information technology age that has begun in India during the late 90s and has continued during the late 80s and has continued into the next decades. And currently we are a very digitally strong nation. And one more contribution is in terms of various revolutions that have taken place. Uh, various revolutions that have taken place in, for example, like uh, the revolution in oil seeds or provision of one is like Operation Flood in case of milk supply, and one more thing is like providing potable drinking water to various sections. All these kind of major revolutions were started under his tenure, as suggested by a committee of Sam Petrodas.
Okay, fine. You must have heard Assam Accord, Punjab
Yes, sir.
Accord, Mizoram
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Accord. Okay, what do you know about Punjab Accord?
Sir, Punjab Accord. Yes, sir. Yes. Punjab Accord was actually a consequence of the unrest that has taken place. Unrest that has taken place as a result of the demand for Khalistan, which has resulted in violence and also became a kind of threat to the national security. Sir. Later,
Tell
it
us
has
some
it has
provisions of the same. Provisions of
provisions.
Punjab Accord.
Sir, I don't remember all the provisions, sir, but few provisions I remember is like one is having a common capital for both the uh, Punjab and uh, Punjab and Haryana in the form of Chandigarh, sir. One more thing is
No, no,
related to
no,
the
no.
share.
God said that Chandigarh must go to Punjab.
Sorry, sir. Then I might not be clear with that, sir. One more
Okay,
point I remember
leave
is,
it. You are like
sir.
an ECE student, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Surya? Okay, leave it that. Okay, you are an ECE student.
Yes, sir.
Is it audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You're
Yeah,
audible.
he switched off.
Okay, fine.
You're audible.
Why India is launching communication satellites from French Guiana rather than from Sriharikota?
Yes, sir. Yes. Sir, one major reason is like the the present level of launch vehicles we have, like PSLV or GSLV. They have
Okay.
certain limitations in terms of the weight of satellites that can be carried, sir. So in case of, for example, in case of huge satellites which weigh more than 5,000 kg or so, we
Okay.
are still dependent on French Guiana. But currently, we are working on various models of GSLV which can even take the heavier satellites into orbits.
Okay. Okay, these are the reasons. Okay, what do you mean by transponder in a communication satellite?
Sir, it is.
What is the what is a transponder?
Yes, sir.
Is it audible, Surya?
Yes, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, please go ahead.
So the clear definition, I'm not able to recall, sir. Sorry.
Surya, I have a question for you.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Can electricity be transferred without wires?
Without wires, sir.
Yeah, without wires. You are a student of electronics and communication. Is that
Yes,
being
sir.
tried? Has it been tried anywhere?
Sir,
There are definitely attempts like what are you doing in a tower
sir.
in a cable tower or in any tower,
We are
mobile
using wide
towers?
commun.
What's being done?
It is through the radiation signal, sir.
Correct. So why can't you transform electricity into that and transmit it without the wires? Can you do it? Have you seen any modern developments in this regard?
Sorry, sir. I'm not aware.
Okay, you mentioned that discussing and analyzing contemporary socio-political issues.
Sir,
Okay.
sir. Sir.
Okay. Now, what do you mean by resort politics?
Yes, sir. Yes. Sir, that is a terminology used in case of usually in case of governments which are unstable. For example, if you take a coalition government, there are constant chances of people shifting groups from one party to another. So in order to protect their MLAs, for example, before a floor test or any confidence or no confidence motion, that people usually take their MLAs or MPs to some other some other state usually where they feel they're safe. Most probably they take it to a state where their own party was in power, so as to protect their votes till the
Surya,
actual
what's the
voting takes
difference?
place.
What is the difference between abduction and resort politics?
Sir,
Abduction.
abduction,
What's the difference technically? What's the difference between abduction and resort politics?
sir, abduction. I feel that uh, a bit of a bit of threat of violence can also be used as it takes place in case of local body elections everywhere, sir.
Yeah.
But resort politics is usually a formal way where people
It is
voluntarily go.
inducement, not a threat, isn't it?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But
is induced but not voluntary.
ethically, the question I'm raising is it right ethically? I think that's the question which our friend is asking here.
Sir, I'm sorry. Are you asking about abduction or resort politics?
I'm talking of the ethical dimension to the resort politics.
Yes, sir. Sir, ethically, I feel that um, it is not wholly correct, sir, because every legislature, even despite belonging to a political party, has his own freedom to vote according to his choice. So in a way, they're forcing people even who might not be willing to vote in a particular way, sir.
Do you think that the Right to Information Act should be extended to political parties?
Sir, I strongly feel that it is needed, sir, because of the various instances we see, for example, in the case of political funding or the various donations being received by the major political parties and majority of them being anonymous. I feel that it is very much required to apply it so as to reduce the role of reduce the role of any quid pro quo mechanisms in political fundings.
The Supreme Court doesn't seem to feel that it is necessary. What do you say about that?
Sir,
the extension of the Right to Information Act to the process by means of which an MLA has been chosen, or the process by means of which a minister is chosen. The Supreme Court says it can't be made applicable. Do you think the Supreme Court is right?
Sir, I think as I had said earlier, I think it can apply to specific instances, as in case of political funding, but the specific case you have told, like choosing a particular person as MLA or MP, there are various other mechanisms also as a consequence of various reforms. For example, publication of their criminal antecedents in the major newspapers, or uploading their various antecedents of both.
No, those are all voluntary measures. There is nothing that is mandated. The question here is Right to Information Act. Does it extend to a political party? This is the issue. And is a political party a public office? But insofar as it chooses a candidate, either as an MLA or as a minister.
Sir, in this specific case, you are saying even I too go with the view of the Supreme Court that parties being independent organizations themselves have a choice, have a freedom of choice to select their candidates.
Nobody is denying the political parties the freedom of choice. The only thing we are now saying is make it transparent to the people. That's what the Right to Information Act says. The Right to Information Act does not restrict anybody's competence.
Yes, sir.
They are saying the question here is make it transparent. Make it known to people why you have chosen A versus B or B versus C.
So then I personally feel that this is one of the reforms that can be brought in to bring more transparency in the electoral system.
Okay. Yeah, please.
What is your opinion on having a uniform civil code for this country?
Yes, sir.
You know what's a uniform civil code, right? That's very much in news now.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm aware.
What do you think? Do you think that we should have a uniform civil code? Do you think that time is now right to have a uniform civil code for this country?
Sir, actually, this is also one of the provisions of the Constitution under the directive principles of state policy, sir. But in the present era of having a uniform criminal code and not having a uniform civil code, we are having certain issues like the discrimination of women, or not having equal rights for men and women, and also having various diverse practices among the other religions.
You think it's solely
Thinking,
related to women's issues? I mean,
yeah, no,
what
sir,
exactly is a uniform civil code? You tell me what's a uniform civil code?
sir, uniform civil code is like having having the same set of rules related to the people of various religions in case of be it in case of marriage, adoption, alimony, divorce, and various other relations, various other issues related to
Personal
the civil issues,
matters.
personal matters. Sorry, sir.
Personal matters.
Related to the
They're called as
personal matters.
personal laws, right?
Yes, there is.
Uh, why
But
is there? I
but
mean,
the thing is, like,
isn't it good that we should have a uniform civil code? Do you think that it is important for us in the interest of national integration?
sir, when we talk about national integration, even I feel that it is absolutely necessary, sir. But introduction of itself, it leads to various issues when proper consultation is not done with the stakeholders who are involved, and majorly the sections uh, which are against this which are against the introduction of this practice. We should listen to the demands, and we should involve their leaders, be it both political leaders and religious leaders, and we even need to make sure that it doesn't alienate any section, like the tribal sections who are worried that their individual cultural and religious practices might be in danger, or certain minorities which might feel that it is a form of imposition of majoritarianism. So only
So
after
you
considering
mean to
all
say
these
that a
issues,
consensus should be arrived at before
yes, sir,
trying
yes,
to
sir.
implement a
That is,
uniform civil code for this country?
con-
Now,
consensus is very much important.
yeah. Now, you're from technical background, right?
Yes, sir, yes, sir. I'm from engineering, electronics background.
Yeah. Now you also have some experience in private sector.
Yes, sir. For
Don't you
two
think that
years
you're
after
going to lose
my
out on some lucrative opportunities by getting into government service?
sir, I've I've resigned there willingly, sir. I've resigned there willingly because I found it monotonous, and I felt that I couldn't be doing it for my lifetime. So due to that reason, I'm not feeling guilty that I have lost any other lucrative opportunities.
But you probably might be finding work in the government sector even more monotonous,
Sir,
repetitive.
des- sir,
You
the
resign
work
that
might be
also.
repeat. What, sir? What, sir? Sorry,
Then you'll resign the government job also.
sir. In government job, as you said, the aspect of monotony might be there in case of certain jobs, but there is also a form of diversity that is provided. For example, even in various group one services like deputy collector or DSP, we are involved in diverse sectors of administration. So diversity is also inbuilt into these government services, and one major reason that attracts me is also the kind of people connect it provides. Like
Tell me how
like where
important is ethics in public service?
sir, it has utmost importance, sir, because the government service itself deals with the entire citizens, in a way, the entire society. So, and the major aims of government itself is distribution of various public services in in a way that doesn't discriminate among people, in a way that is inclusive, and in a way that reaches even the grassroots level. So
Okay.
various ethical principles like
Okay. Do you think that
integrity.
rule abidingness is ethical? Being
Sir,
completely rule bound. Do you think
sir,
it's ethical?
sir, it is ethical to an extent, but sometimes abiding by the rule, we can be legal but not completely ethical, sir.
So you can be
It, be it
unethical
for,
also. You can be unethical also by sticking to rules and regulations.
yes, sir, yes, sir. For
You can be,
example,
yeah.
yes, sir,
So
yes, sir.
what we should do? I mean, you're in a situation where the rule says that you're supposed to act in a specific manner, but you don't find
Sir,
that
sir.
action to be ethical. What do you do?
Sir, in that case, if I'm in the government sector, we are bound to follow the rules because we are the ones who are meant to formulate the policies and even execute those policies.
But
But
that would be
but
challenging your
in
ethical
specific,
concerns, isn't it?
yes, sir, yes, sir. But in
And
case of specific or exceptional circumstances like those, I can resort to some other mechanisms which does not which might not break the rule, but also provide a mechanism for the grievance redressal in those exceptional situations.
okay,
For example,
okay.
using my personal contacts or with contacts with the civil society, I can help in redressal of that specific problems.
What's a civil society? You use the word civil society, right? How do
Yes,
you
sir.
understand civil society? What do you mean by civil society?
Sir, civil society in a way it it includes various organizations, be it NGOs or be it any self-help groups, or be it in a way it forms the interface between the government and the society, thus forming a triangle of the entire social structures.
Okay, then.
Uh, Mr. Surya,
Yes, sir.
your answers are quite reflective, but you're halting. While I appreciate your reflective answers because some of them are very tricky, including the questions that I raised and perhaps the ones that are
Yes,
raised
sir.
about ethical and legal issues.
Yes, sir.
But you shouldn't give the impression of being halting. I can understand your reflection, so please do that. But you
Okay,
are
sir.
very balanced. That's a strength that you have.
Thank you.
Uh, but then you're being dragged into by, you see, you gave a too wide an interpretation of your activities by saying that by analyzing contemporary socio-political issues and current events. Don't do that unless
Okay, sir.
you want to get
Okay.
involved in all kinds of discussions.
Okay, sir. Got it, sir.
Because see, when you talk of current events, socio-political events, anybody and
Sir.
everything, anything and everything can come under that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So
In
you
a way, I'm
narrow your ambit and give specific areas where you would like to lead the board.
okay, sir.
Yeah, that's what I thought I will tell you. You may be right,
Yes, sir. Yes.
but you will be giving scope to a person to ask any question. The questions that I raised
Yes,
about
sir.
political parties and RTA, etc. These are all engaging the attention of the various bodies right now. So be careful.
Okay, sir. Yes.
You are in endowments because
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
your endowment experience is very short, so you may not have many questions, but certainly issues will be raised about your endowments
Yes,
tenure,
yes,
electronics and
yes, sir.
communications. I think you should be
Sure.
also getting ready with artificial intelligence, etc. And how do you bring in
Yes, sir.
electronics and communications into your endowments functioning? These are all areas where I think you could
Yes,
start looking at it. For
yes, sir.
instance,
Yes.
your audit of temples, it could be
It's
a
completely
real-time audit.
digitalized. Yes, sir.
It could be a real-time audit. So you think of them so that you could narrow down the scope on which you will be asked questions. Okay?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
A live, real-time, concurrent audit online.
Sir, sir. Sir.
So that's something where you can say anything and get away with it. Okay?
Yes, sir. Yes.
So please
Yes.
reflect on those areas because you are an electronics and communication student. So please make use of that. There's anything that you say will have some kind of an authenticity and a validity. But you should be a little more forthcoming
Yes,
when
sir.
you say a few things. Okay, good. All the best. And
Yes, sir. Thank you.
this question about you are leaving a good job from the private sector and coming to government will be repeated perhaps. So you should be prepared for to take some questions and
Okay.
be clear in your answers.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay. All the best.
Thank you. All the best.
Thank you. Thank you.